Hey Capricorn, welcome back to the Herb Lady. I hope this video finds you guys well and taking care of business as per usual, like the goats that you guys are. Um, I changed up the spread for the month of October, and for this month we're going to be doing something a little bit different. It's called a planetary time spread. I'm going to explain the details to the spread in a minute, but let's just get through some basic things here first. So this spread is basically a remix of a spread that is in my Mythical Tarot book. And if you guys want to get this deck and this book for yourself, the link in the is in the description box below. Also, the link to my Universe Has Your Back deck is in the description box below as well. Also, this spread here, I do as a general spread. It's remixed for a general spread. Also, I have another remix version for personalized readings, which go way more in depth than the general reading does. And for the link to book a reading for yourself with my Squarespace page is below. I'm running a special, you guys, on this reading. This reading typically costs about $150. However, I'm doing a special on it for $55 for throughout to November 15th. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and we're going to get into the reading. I'm going to briefly explain this reading to you guys so you guys can kind of keep up and keep track with me. And then we're going to go over the transits. Transits are basically planets that move through signs, you guys, but I'll explain that all in a second here. So, going into the explanation of the reading, basically my planetary times reading is a reading that explains how the transits are affecting the lives of Capricorn. So with transits, like I said, is the planets moving through signs. So right now we have the sun in Libra. From what I believe today, the moon is in Pisces. Soon to be in Aries, probably the day that I dropped this video. And then we have Mercury that is in Scorpio or going into Scorpio. We have Venus in Leo, Mars in Aries, so on and so forth. So what we do in the planetary time spread is we do 7 placements or 7 cards to represent the sun all the way through Saturn and how each of these transiting planets is affecting Capricorn for the month of October, you guys. I hope that that makes sense. I'm gonna walk you guys through the reading and walk you guys through what each of the planets means and what parts of the planets you guys should be, what parts of your lives you should be seeing these planetary movements take effect in. Now, you guys, one thing to keep in mind is that just like Earth, how Earth holds her own energy, each of the planets in our solar system and beyond hold their own energy. These are literal supersized stars. They're celestial beings. They're gods, they're deities. And literally how the ancients based their gods around the planets is literally how we should come toward the planets, because the planets are carrying particular sets of energies that dictate particular points in our lives. So for any of you guys that are interested, you could look more into that, or you could book a personal reading with me, or you can check out my other page, The Herb Lady Speaks, where I like to have discussions about each planet and its effect, its personal effect. That's more my vlog channel. This channel is definitely a channel that's more so dedicated to tarot and to herbs, you guys. Also, if you want to, you can check out my Herb of the Month, Damiana, for the month of October. Damiana is very good for people who literally have issues with social anxiety or depression or urinary issues. Definitely check it out, you guys. It's some very insightful information in that video, and the link to that is in the description box below as well. So, getting into the transits here. Now, with these transits, for October, we have a couple of changes taking place. The sun is in Libra right now, and the sun will be in Libra until October 23rd, From there, it's going to move into Scorpio, and we will be in our coveted Scorpio season. I know quite a bit of you Capricorns out there are dealing with Scorpios. Just keep that in mind and bear with us as we go through our, as some of us go through our favorite time of the year. Mercury is in Scorpio until October 29th, and then it will retrograde back into Libra briefly before coming back into Scorpio. Venus is in Leo until October 3rd, and where then it will transition into Virgo. Mars is in Aries retrograde the entire month of October, and what that means is that, you know, with the retrograde, as with any retrograde, pretty much we are experiencing a slowed down energy coming from Mars. Jupiter is in Capricorn the entire month of October, and Saturn is in Capricorn the entire month of October. So yesterday, September 29th, was when Saturn went direct, and basically what that means is that the culmination of all the lessons learned during the Saturn retrograde, now that it's going direct, Saturn is putting us back to the test and putting us back under the fire to see what lessons we have learned see what lessons we have gleaned from during that retrograde period. So shit's getting real for a lot of people. A lot of people are definitely feeling the pressure of the changes that they're going through. For some, it's more of those negative changes than for others. It just depends on how your karma is stacked, Capricorn. And the fact that Jupiter is in your home sign, just remember, in terms of expansion, Jupiter does not like being in Capricorn, because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is the ruler of limits and restriction. Jupiter likes to move around and breathe and experience freedom and have room to expand. But when it's in a sign that's ruled by restriction, everything that it wants to expand on is restricted, or what you see is a lot of restriction being expanded on. So all of these things that bear restriction in mind is being expanded for all of us collectively. Okay? So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into the reading. I'm going to pull an oracle message for Capricorn from the Universe Has Your Back deck. We all need a positive message to get us through these trying times. I know last night a lot of you guys may have watched the presidential debate and saw what a disaster that was. And it's probably leaving a lot of people kind of in a place of limbo. So let's get a positive message and kind of get more of that positive energy going for Capricorn here. All right, I need one card for Capricorn. One card for Capricorn. One card for Capricorn. Okay. All right. So this card says, I choose to learn through love. And this is kind of like taking us back to that construct that love is a very powerful energy, you guys. Love is it's a life-changing energy. When you tap into love, love can supersede over hate. It can supersede over agitation. It can supersede over all of those more so negatively associated emotions. But remember, love is also not an emotion that's supposed to be used to gloss over problems and issues. Love is an emotion that's called on in order to really reach the core and to really learn from the lesson. We learn the lesson out of love, out of a place of love, because when we do so out of fear or out of hate or out of regret, the situation can leave room to repeat itself over and over and over again. And we don't like getting stuck in cycles over here at the Herb Lady. I know personally I don't. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into the reading here, and we're going to pull on that first position. So card number 1 will be the Sun, and how the Sun in Libra is affecting Capricorn's personal life and personal goals and their ego, because remember, the sun rules our individual goals and our ego and who we truly are at the surface. The ascendant is who we present ourselves to be. The sun is who we are truly up underneath it. Okay, so let's see what's going on in terms of Capricorn with the sun in Libra. Okay, basically the whole deck just spilled out. All right. Okay. All right. So for you guys, what I'm seeing is the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Cups. It seems like for the sun being in Libra, because Libra definitely is a square to you guys, Capricorn. So you guys are seeing like a grand action of friction that's taking place, and with it being the Knight of Cups, it seems like either what you guys are about to it seems like you guys are moving toward a fire sign. You have a cup of love to give to this fire sign. And even like with the fire sign, they have their wand pointed toward the Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups is pointed toward the fire sign with his cup. So you guys are you're trying to bring a situation of love, or like your oracle says, choosing to learn through love in what can otherwise be perceived as a very aggressive situation, or the person that you're moving toward is very aggressive. They have very aggressive energy towards you, and you guys are kind of coming at it. I feel like with the sun being in Libra, you guys are kind of taking a balanced approach to try to come at this in a different form, where you would usually use aggression, you would usually go in guns blazing. You guys are choosing to come in with this cup of love, with these showing more emotional vulnerability and showing more empathy and sympathy for the person that you are dealing with, because this is definitely a person who is younger and a person who definitely seeks to go to battle and to go to war. They love the smell of war. Okay, so you guys are in a place where you're dealing with more of an aggressive type, or this could be literally a battle between yourselves, and you're trying to find balance between that sensitive side of you versus that side of you that's ready to fight at the drop of a dime. So you know, that's where the sun and the scales are kind of being tipped for you, Capricorn. Okay, so the next card that we're going to go into is the moon. The moon represents home. The moon represents emotional values. The moon is typically ruled by Cancer, which is the opposition sign to Capricorn. Cancer is the great mother. Capricorn is the great father. Two different energies playing out. Well, it's basically the same energy playing out in two different ways, which is why it opposes. But going back to the point with the moon card, we basically see how the moon transits are going to affect Capricorn for the month of October. Now, we have 2 full moons for this month. The first moon coming up tomorrow, which is in Aries, and then the next full moon coming up on Halloween, which is in Taurus. So we're definitely going to see a lot of emotional activity taking place, because we're talking about the moon, which rules the emotions. So for Capricorn, this could definitely be a very emotional month for you all, is what I'm picking up, is that there's going to be a lot of conflicting emotions taking place. And this is before I even turn the card over for you guys. All right. So for Capricorn, it looks like the moon transits is bringing wish fulfillment for you guys on some level. You guys basically are seeing a fulfillment, an emotional fulfillment of something that you had anticipated, or something that you kind of felt internally was going to happen to you, and you're now seeing it play out in the physical. So these are all things that mentally, spiritually. You kept feeling what happened. You kept knowing what come. You felt it coming. You knew it was gonna come, and now it's finally playing out in front of you. These moon transits is finally bringing the entirety of the situation to a head, and you watch it play out physically. Now, Nine of Cups is it can either be very positive or neutral or negative, where you get your wish fulfillment, you get your wish fulfilled, but it also comes with a caveat: be careful what you wish for, be careful what you pray for, because you may get it and then figure that this was not what you wanted, or you don't know how to handle that which you prayed for, Capricorn. So you're definitely seeing that play out for the month of October. And in a personal reading, usually, because Nine of Cups is such an ambivalent card, we kind of don't know which direction this wish fulfillment is going in or how it's playing out. For the querent, what I usually do is I would ask for a card ask for the energy from the moon, saying how it is that Capricorn can deal with this wish fulfillment energy, what it is that can console Capricorn in this wish fulfillment, or what it is that could amplify the feeling of wish fulfillment. So that's how it would be done in a personal reading, so to speak, plus the fact that we talk about a few more transits that take place. For now, we're only covering the big 7 in the general reading. All right, so moving on to Mercury. Now, Mercury is a planet that deals with our intellect. It deals with education. It deals with travel. It also deals with work to a certain extent. It deals with philosophical and abstract ways of thinking. So with this, we see how the transit and with Mercury moving through Scorpio, how that's going to affect Capricorn for the month of October. Now, keep in mind, we also have a Mercury retrograde coming up. It's the final one for the year of 2020. It's coming up October 15th, and I believe it ends November 3rd, okay? So, let's see the energy that's affecting Capricorn. So, it looks like for Mercury, with you guys getting Judgment in reverse, for Mercury being in Scorpio, a decision, mentally, a decision that has been made, a final judgment, so to speak, is affecting you mentally. It really is kind of like knocking you off of your square, and you definitely feel like the judgment that was made was unfair, and it definitely did not rule in your favor. So it's kind of leaving you mentally to try to cope. And even like with this judgment, it could be impairing your communication, your ability to properly communicate, because Hermes is the god of messengers. He speaks to messages being conveyed, messages getting across. And in the terms of Hermes being reversed, we're seeing that Hermes is not able to effectively communicate and get the message across. And with that, especially in terms of if a choice was made that impairs the ability for communication to come across, Capricorn, you guys are going to be spending some time with the Scorpio transit being in the crosshairs of struggling with communication, struggling to get your point across. So now moving on into Venus. Now with Venus, as we know, Venus rules love, it rules relationships. Venus, to an extent, also rules the home. So even though Venus is definitely listed as one of those benefic planets that brings in so much beauty and joy, Venus can really come back to bite you in the ass if you don't treat Venus right. That means if you don't do right in your relationships, you rack up a lot of negative karma, then you see a lot of these relationship patterns come back to you. And, it's like you end up being on the receiving end of a lot of relationship type energy, Capricorn. So we're going to see how the Venus transit through Virgo for the month of October is affecting Capricorn. All right. So with Page of Wands, it looks like you guys are getting a message from a loved one from somebody that you're in a relationship with in regards to you all's relationship. A swift message is coming in, a swift and unexpected message. Or what could probably be happening is that you may have a fire sign child who literally is coming to the point where they're in need of you, Capricorn, and you're going to find yourself in a place where your child is rushing towards you, because they're not only rushing towards you because they need you, they're in desperate need of you right now at this moment, but also because of the fact that the other parent, the person whom you carried this relationship with at one point in time, has an urgent message for you. So you guys are definitely receiving a message for the month of October from a loved one, and this could be definitely like a message in regards to your spiritual practices, in regards to your passions, in regards to your hobbies, and in regards to, you know, as far as like what ignites you, what gets you up out of bed in the morning. And it could very well possibly be the person that you're involved with, and you're about to see a message come from them in terms of Venus being in Virgo for the month of October. You're going to see a lot of communication taking place, but keep in mind, because of the fact with Mercury in Scorpio, it's going to put you in a compromised situation where you're able to communicate and get things across effectively. Just take the messages, don't take them with a grain of salt, but also just process them. Take as much time as you need in order to process these messages, because they're going to be coming in swiftly, just kind of hitting you from every direction. So take some time in order to absorb those blows and really look at them and see them for what they are. Look at them very objectively, okay? So with that, we're going to be going into Mars. The next card is Mars, and how the Mars transit is going to affect Capricorn for the month of October. Now remember, Mars rules conflict, it rules aggression, it rules war. With Mars being in Aries, we're talking about the all-out aggression, all-out war. Everything is on the table. We're battling face to face. And then with Mars being in Scorpio, which is more of the shadow aspect of it, Mars in Scorpio talks about the underhanded wars, the wars that are fought behind the scenes, the wars that you can't see, usually spiritual warfare, before war formulates and molds itself into light and becomes all-out warfare in the physical, which is what Mars in Aries represents. So with Mars being in Aries in its home state of Aries, and also being in retrograde, what we see is that there is a lot of frustration, there is a lot of steam. However, because of the retrograde, everything is being forced to slow down and to be processed and to be internalized before it can come out. So we're going to see how that affects Capricorn for the month of October. So for you guys have the King of Wands in reverse, which tells me that you guys, in terms of Mars, you guys could probably literally be dealing with an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius. And with Mars being in Aries, in the retrograde within the backspin, this could possibly be a person that you're dealing with that you have a lot of issues with. And Mars in retrograde is kind of putting all the issues out on the table. For some reason, I have a feeling that this has to do with Venus, with that message that you're getting, because this is where a lot of energy is about to be directed towards this King of Wands in reverse. To whomever this person is, you're going to really be feeling like a lot of direct aggression and opposition toward this person, given the fact that there's so much fire here in your reading already. Capricorn is telling me that straight out that you are dealing with spiritual warfare, you're dealing with fire signs, you're dealing with your passions, and right now your passions are either taking some definite blows, or your passions are being put in a place where they have to be tamed and they're being checked. However, you know, you're also being put in a place where you're being forced to learn through love. You know, it's like there's so much fire here, but there's so much restraint in the fire where you guys can't just burn everything to the ground as you would normally do. Now it's time to really like hone in on what it is that you really need to learn from, because now you're restricted. You're being restricted in communication, and the moon dictates your emotions, dictate that part of you wanted this restriction. Part of you asked for this restriction, Capricorn. So it's like you're now getting what you asked for, and you're now literally being forced to carry it out and learn from it, which is hard. It's hard because, especially when you don't know the lessons of being careful of that which you do ask for. So with that being said, we're going to go into Jupiter. And remember, Jupiter is in Capricorn. It's in your sign. Jupiter does not like being here. Jupiter feels very restricted here. And so it's like we see Jupiter trying to expand, but being met with restriction at the same time. Trying to expand, being restricted. Trying to expand, being restricted. So it's like there's a lot of friction going on with Jupiter right now. And remember, Jupiter also rules travel, it rules expansion, it rules gains, it rules benefits. So we are going to see here what it is that Jupiter is expanding for the month of October for Capricorn. All right. So Jupiter is expanding the Chariot forward motion. The fact that the Chariot is Cancer ruled, and so it seems like Jupiter's expanding some opposition for you guys. You guys' back is up against the wall right now, and you're definitely feeling the blows from opposition type energy. You guys have opposition definitely expanded. You're getting the messages that are coming in from Venus, and you're dealing with whomever this King of Wands figure is in Mars. You definitely got a lot of beef with this King of Wands figure, and Jupiter is expanding the tension and the opposition between you and this King of Wands figure, while at the same time restricting you, because you're being put in a place with Mercury where you're being restricted on communication, being restricted on getting your point across as you normally would. Normally, you're trying to go all out war. Normally, you're balls to the walls with the Knight of Wands. But the Knight of Cups is calling for you to approach it in a completely different demeanor and approach it on more of an emotional level. It's asking for you to learn through love. And it's creating tension so that you're being put in a position you're being put in a position where you're forced to change your tactics. You're forced to change your approach. Jupiter really is expanding on the conflict so that you can learn the lesson of being forced to change how you react and respond. So remember, love is an energy. Love is a powerful energy. And how we use love is completely up to us. So going into Saturn, remember I told you guys Saturn is at home in Capricorn. You guys are ruled by Saturn. Saturn is the granddaddy of all time. He's father time. He sees it all. He knows it all. And Saturn does not have any issues about issuing discipline when needed and when called for. And a lot of the time, people say, oh, Saturn is so harsh, you're such a harsh planet. Saturn is a very difficult planet to work with, but when you learn to work with him, he rewards greatly. Saturn is like that grandfather. If he sees you working hard and he sees you actually trying to work through whatever issue that he has set before you to work through, Saturn is going to reward you. He's that well-paying grandfather, but who's only going to pay you well when he sees that you're doing your job. So it's like, with that, with the restrictions, with the limitations, this is where we see how Saturn is affecting Capricorn in terms of restrictions and limitations for the month of October. And you guys have 7 of Pentacles. So Seven of Pentacles usually speaks to planting seeds. That's how we get things in motion, putting seeds in the ground so that they can germinate and eventually turn into something that can benefit us in the long run. Planting seeds is very important, especially in terms of when you're trying to build a life for yourself and you're planning for the future. Saturn kind of has you guys right now in a state where you are working on the conflict. You're working on the conflict that's within yourself between your consciousness and your unconscious. You're working on the conflict that's with this King of Wands, which could be yourself, Saturn. It really could be your passions, your unbridled passions. And where that part of yourself that you really got to rein in, that part of yourself that you struggle to rein in. And Saturn is coming in and saying, no, right now is not the time to act. Right now is not the time to plant seeds for the future, because right now you're being forced to face the person in the mirror. You're being forced to do the internal work, because, how are you going to plant seeds and make prayers and ask for wish fulfillment? All you're going to do is end up right back into the same spot where you are right now, and you're getting that wish fulfillment on working on yourself and changing yourself. If you're not conscious of what it is that you are asking for, if you're not conscious of what it is that you're asking for, of the seeds that you're planting, all you're going to do is repeat the same cycle over and over and over again. And that is where Saturn is restricting you, Capricorn. They're restricting you from repeating the same cycle over and over again, because they are asking you to master the lesson of choosing to learn through the lens of love. And through the lens of love can be literally agape, love for all, love for self, love of self. And if you don't know what it is like to love yourself and to make decisions out of love for yourself, making a decision out of love for yourself doesn't mean just protecting yourself. It's protecting your future, protecting your family, protecting your assets. Protecting that which around you means the most to you, and you being in the vessel that you are in, that should be of utmost importance to you, Capricorn. And until you learn the lesson of that, Saturn is definitely going to restrict you. But Jupiter is definitely trying you. Jupiter is trying you right now. Jupiter is definitely bringing on the opposition right now. It's expanding these energies and making these energies larger than life in order for you to learn the lesson that much more. With Capricorn being an earth sign, it would be kind of cruel to say that you guys are dense. I can't say that because I have so much progressed Capricorn energy right now, and you guys are the furthest from dense. You're extremely smart and logical people. However, sometimes because of the fact that you guys are so heavy in the earth energy and you're so heavy in that cardinal energy, it's a lot of earth and fire energy, and at times you just get a result of scorched earth. So, with Capricorn, it really is saying take a step back, water yourself, nurture yourself, take care of yourself, and learn yourself before you move forward in trying to take care of business or start a new venture somewhere else. Or else you're going to end up in the same cycle, experiencing the same patterns. And that is not what anybody wants for you guys, okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. Leave a comment in the section down below. Let me know what was your favorite part of the reading. What planet do you most resonate with? And, let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys. I love to hear feedback from you guys. And definitely follow me on Instagram at the Herb Lady. I love you guys. Take care. Stay hydrated, stay moisturized, mind your own fucking business, and, keep the peace as much as you can. I love you guys. Ashe.